Filippo Tommaso Marinetti, The Foundation and Manifesto of Futurism. We had stayed up all night, my friends and I, under hanging mosque lamps with domes of filigreed brass, domes starred like our spirits, shining like them with the prisoned radiance of electric hearts. For hours we had trampled our atavistic ennui onto rich oriental rugs, arguing up to the last confines of logic and blackening many reams of paper with our frenzied scribbling. An immense pride was buoying us up, because we felt ourselves alone at that hour, alone, awake, and on our feet, like proud beacons or forward sentries against an army of hostile stars glaring down at us from their celestial encampments, alone with stokers feeding the hellish fires of great ships, alone with the black spectres who grope in the red-hot bellies of locomotives launched down their crazy courses, alone with drunkards reeling like wounded birds along the city walls. Suddenly we jumped, hearing the mighty noise of the huge double-decker trams that rumbled by outside, ablaze with colored lights like villages on holiday, suddenly struck and uprooted by the flooding Po, and dragged over falls and through gorges to the sea. Then the silence deepened, but as we listened to the old canal muttering its feeble prayers and the creaking bones of sickly palaces above their damp green beards under the windows, we suddenly heard the famished roar of automobiles. "Let's go," I said. "Friends away, let's go." Mythology and the mystic ideal are defeated at last. We're about to see the centaur's birth, and, soon after, the first flight of angels. We must shake the gate of life, test the bolts and hinges. Let's go. Look there on the earth, the very first dawn. There's nothing to match the splendor of the sun's red sword, slashing for the first time through our millennial gloom. We went up to the three snorting beasts, to lay amorous hands on their torrid breasts. I stretched out on my car like a corpse on its bier, but revived at once under the steering wheel, a guillotine blade that threatened my stomach. The raging broom of madness swept us out of ourselves and drove us through the streets as rough and deep as beds of torrents. Here and there, sick lamplight through window glass taught us to distrust the deceitful mathematics of our perishing eyes. I cried, the scent alone is enough for our beasts. And like young lions we ran after death, its dark pelt blotched with pale crosses as it escaped down the vast, violent, living and throbbing sky. But we had no ideal mistress raising her divine form to the clouds, nor any cruel queen to whom to offer our bodies, twisted like Byzantine rings. There was nothing to make us wish for death, unless the wish to be free at last from the weight of our courage. And on we raced, hurling watchdogs against doorsteps, curling them under our burning tires like collars under a flat iron. Death, domesticated, met me at every turn, gracefully holding out a paw, or once in a while hunkering down, making velvety, caressing eyes at me from every puddle. Let's break out of the horrible shell of wisdom and throw ourselves like pride-ripened fruit into the wide, contorted mouth of the wind. Let's give ourselves utterly to the unknown, not in desperation, but only to replenish the deep wells of the absurd. The words were scarcely out of my mouth when I spun my car around with the frenzy of a dog trying to bite its tail, and there, suddenly, were two cyclists coming towards me, shaking their fists, wobbling like two unequally convincing, but nevertheless contradictory arguments. Their stupid dilemma was blocking my way. Damn! Ouch! I stopped short and to my disgust rolled over into a ditch with my wheels in the air. Oh, maternal ditch! almost full of muddy water, fair factory drain. I gulped down your nourishing sludge, and I remembered the blessed black breast of my Sudanese nurse. When I came up, torn, filthy, and stinking, from under the capsized car, I felt the white-hot iron of joy deliciously pass through my heart. A crowd of fishermen with hand lines and gouty naturalists were already swarming around the prodigy. With patient, loving care, those people rigged a tall derrick and iron grapnels to fish out my car like a big beached shark. Up it came from the ditch, slowly leaving in the bottom like scales its heavy framework of good sense and its soft upholstery of comfort. They thought it was dead, my beautiful shark, but a caress from me was enough to revive it, and there it was again, alive, running on its powerful fins, and so, faces smeared with good factory muck, plastered with metallic waste, with senseless sweat, with celestial soot. We bruised, our arms in slings, but unafraid, declared our high intentions to all the living of the earth. The Manifesto of Futurism. We intend to sing the love of danger, the habit of energy and fearlessness. Courage, audacity, and revolt will be essential elements of our poetry. Up to now, literature has exalted a pensive immobility, ecstasy, and sleep. We intend to exalt aggressive action, a feverish insomnia, the racer's stride, the mortal leap, the punch, and the slap. We say that the world's magnificence has been enriched by a new beauty, the beauty of speed, a racing car whose hood is adorned with great pipes, like serpents of explosive breath. A roaring car that seems to ride on grapeshot is more beautiful than the victory of Samothrace. We want to hymn the man at the wheel who hurls the lance of his spirit across the earth along the circle of its orbit. The poet must spend himself with ardor, splendor, and generosity to swell the enthusiastic fervor of the primordial elements. Except in struggle, there is no more beauty. No work without an aggressive character can be a masterpiece. Poetry must be conceived as a violent attack on unknown forces to reduce and prostrate them before man. We stand on the last promontory of the centuries. Why should we look back when what we want is to break down the mysterious doors of the impossible? Time and space died yesterday. We already live in the absolute because we have created eternal, omnipresent speed. We will glorify war, the world's only hygiene, militarism, patriotism, the destructive gesture of freedom bringers, beautiful ideas worth dying for, and scorn for women. We will destroy the museums, libraries, academies of every kind. We will fight moralism, feminism, every opportunistic or utilitarian cowardice. We will sing of great crowds excited by work, by pleasure, and by riot. We will sing of the multicolored, polyphonic tides of revolution in the modern capitals. We will sing of the vibrant nightly fervor of arsenals and shipyards blazing with violent electric moons, greedy railway stations that devour smoked-plumed serpents, factories hung on clouds by the crooked lines of their smoke, bridges that strive the rivers like giant gymnasts, flashing in the sun with a glitter of knives, adventurous streamers that sniff the horizon, deep-chested locomotives whose wheels paw the tracks like the hooves of enormous steel horses bridled by tubing, and the sleek flight of planes whose propellers chatter in the wind like banners and seem to cheer like an enthusiastic crowd. It is from Italy that we launch through the world this violently upsetting, incendiary manifesto of ours. With it today we establish Futurism because we want to free this land from its smelly gangrene of professors, archaeologists, ciceroni, and antiquarians. For too long has Italy been a dealer in second-hand clothes. We mean to free her from the numberless museums that cover her like so many graveyards. Museums, cemeteries, identical surely in the sinister promiscuity of so many bodies unknown to one another. Museums, public dormitories, where one lies forever beside hated or unknown beings. Museums, absurd abattoirs of painters and sculptors ferociously macerating each other with color blows and line blows, the length of the fought-over walls. In truth, I tell you that daily visits to museums, libraries, and academies, cemeteries of empty exertion, calvaries of crucified dreams, registries of aborted beginnings, is, for artists, as damaging as the prolonged supervision by parents of certain young people drunk with their talent and their ambitious wills. When the future is barred to them, the admirable past may be a solace for the ills of the moribund, the sickly, the prisoner, but we want no part of it. The past, we the young, but we want no part of it. The past, we the young and strong futurists. So let them come, the gay incendiaries with charred fingers. Here they are, here they are. Come on, set fire to the library shelves. Turn aside the canals to flood the museums. Oh, the joy of seeing the glorious old canvases bobbing adrift on those waters, discolored and shredded. Take up your pickaxes, your axes and hammers, and wreck the venerable cities pitilessly. The oldest of us is 30, so we have at least a decade for finishing our work. When we are 40, other younger and stronger men will probably throw us in the wastebasket like useless manuscripts. We want it to happen. They will come against us. Our successors will come from far away, from every quarter, dancing to the winged cadence of their first songs, flexing the hooked claws of predators, sniffing dog-like at the academy doors the strong odor of our decaying minds, which already will have been promised to the literary catacombs.